What you're about to listen to is a Bry-Fy production.
Yo, it's Bry-Fy coming live through your Wi-Fi. One-man show, but I'm feeling like a sci-fi. Comic books, video games, catching them all. Pokemon cards stacked, yeah, I'm ready to brawl. From Marvel to DC, I break it all down. Nifty nerd news, got the geeky rundown. Pop culture hits, movies and shows. I stay in the know while the fandom grows. So plug in, tune up, press play, let's ride. This is the Bry-Fy, baby, welcome to the vibe.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bry-Fy podcast. I'm your host, Bry-Fy, your comics guy, and welcome back to, are we at 150 or are we at 149? I'm not entirely sure. You know what, a quick Google search here, Bry-Fy podcast. Yes, I'm a human, yes, you gotta click, you gotta verify nowadays. Oh cool, did not find anything. Let's try it again. Bry-Fy podcast search. No results found. The Bry-Fy podcast. Okay, that's cool. You know what? That's my fault. I was trying to search on Podbean. Bry-Fy podcast. Right there. Not the brief podcast. Bry-Fy. Right there. So how can I find it on Google? Okay, so... Oh, we're only on episode 149. Sorry, I jumped the gun there. Anywho, welcome to episode 149 of the Bry-Fy podcast. I'm excited to be here. I'm hoping that you guys are excited as well. Got some nifty nerd news items for you. I got quite a few nifty nerd news items, so I'm ready to talk about those. And then we do have something new to talk about. Fallout Season 2, Episode 1 just released, so really excited for that. And we're going to talk about kind of spoiler-ish for the episode. So if you haven't watched Fallout Season 2, Episode 1, it's out now on Amazon Prime. Check it out, because we're about to talk about it. Well, after the nifty nerd news. All right, guys, up first in the nifty nerd news, we had the Video Game Awards last week, and really, we shouldn't even call it the Video Game Awards. We should just call it the Expedition 33 Glaze Quest, because that's really what it was. Claire Obsidian, I think that's how Claire Obsidian, Expedition 33. That's really how I've known it, is Expedition 33. I didn't know there was more to it than that. It won... like every award. And no, it actually set a record of winning 9 awards in the Video Game Awards, including, I'll just list them all for you. It won Best Independent Game, Best Voice Actor with Jennifer English, Best Art Direction, Best Debut Indie, Best Music, Best RPG, Best Narrative, Best Game Direction, and finally it won Game of the Year. Like I said, this is a record. 9 awards in one sitting is a huge record. The previous record was 7, set by The Last of Us Part 2, which was kind of crazy. It's a sequel, right? But that only just goes to show how great this game was. In fact, I have never played this game, but it has popped up everywhere on all my social media, and I have been very tickled by everything that I've seen on it. Mostly TikTok is where I've seen it, where some of the characters have popped up in their dialogue, which is funny. But you could also tell there is a very dark and deep storyline behind all the humor. But I think that only makes the humor that is in this game that much better. You know, that's the one thing, comedy with tragedy is always great, man. Same with the Fallout series, which we'll talk about later. Just having the balance of the two really lets each other shine, and when you do it right, it really shows. And I mean, Expedition 33 obviously did a lot right, because they won 9 awards at the Video Game Awards. Also at the Video Game Awards, we did get, there was a lot of previews and teasers that we got, but 2 I wanted to talk about that are Star Wars related. One being the Fate of the Old Republic, which just got announced. And I was someone who did play the Old Republic back in the day. I really liked it, played it with a computer. I don't know if it was on anything else. I just remember playing it on PC. And, or maybe was it Knights of the Old Republic? I think it was Knights of the Old Republic I played. But I've kind of been itching for another Republic game with Star Wars because I haven't really played one since Knights of the Old Republic. And it's really cool having like a Star Wars RPG game. And so I'm really excited. What they show you doesn't really give you any kind of hint other than the title, the fate of the Old Republic, like what happens to the Old Republic. It's been so long, right? So kind of excited for that because like I'm a fan of RPG games and I'm a big fan of the Star Wars universe. So I think it's been long enough, man. I think it's time to get back into it. The other game that we got, which was Star Wars related, which I'm really excited for, but I'm also extremely cautious about, is the where is it? The Star Wars Galactic Racer, which is going to be coming out next year as well with Fate of the Old. Well, I think Fate of the Old Republic's coming out next year, but I know for sure Star Wars Galactic Racer is going to be coming out in 2026, which this has me super excited because I was a huge Star Wars pod racer fanatic like back in the day. Of course, like I was that perfect age when episode 1 came out. I was a young kid. Well, what episode 1 came, what year did episode 1 come out? Did it come out in, I don't know. Let's just go to Google because I don't prep anything. Star Wars episode 1999 is when it came out. So I would have been 11 years old when that movie came out, 11 or 12, somewhere around there. So like yeah, no. I was born in 88. 98 would have been 10, 99, 11. Yes. So I was like the perfect age for when this came out. Young kid wanting to be a Jedi, but hey, like a kid could be a Jedi too, kind of, or like have force powers. And then they came out with the game on Nintendo 64. So I was a huge fan. So them announcing that we're getting another Star Wars racing game has me excited. But then I started thinking about it. Why aren't they calling this a pod racing game? They keep just calling it Galactic Racer. And that's when I'm starting to have my small crash out. Because I started watching the teaser and there's like one ship that I saw that was pod racer-esque, but it looked hard connected, not on strings like the pod racers are like cables. They had the 2 pods on cables and some had multiple pods or more than just 2. But so I started freaking out, but they like in the other sense, like having like cool land speeders, like really fast land speeders, and like the bikes, for the speeder bikes, like those make sense that people would want to race those too. But then at the end of the teaser, we do get, it looks like a Sebulba reference, or like his silhouette, or I think it was him laughing. I can't remember what happened, but it was clearly Sebulba, and so that's when. One, I thought he was dead. Things don't go well for him at the end of the 1999 Phantom Menace. But that gives me hope that we will see pod racers in this game. But like, a teaser, you want to give them like hope and not really spell out everything, right? But dropping that small reference to Sebulba gives me hope that we're going to see pod racing in this as well, which would be cool to mix pod racers with land speeders and speed bikes and all kinds of things like that. I think that would be really cool. Of course, just it would just be cool if they just remastered the pod racer game for this gen. Playing these games with this gen graphics would be freaking awesome. And I just remember spending way too much time playing these games, way too much like excitement and being like Anakin Skywalker's pod and racing on Tatooine. Like that was like the dream, right? So that was always so much fun. Moving on, that was really it for like the nerd stuff. Let's move on to something else that I came across comic book wise with John Constantine. This one I found really interesting, but funny enough, Alan Moore has claimed to have met John Constantine in the real world at least 2 times, maybe a third time. But it was in an interview that he did. He mentioned, like, where was he? He was in London somewhere, and he was sitting in like a sandwich shop, like just, getting food, when he saw like John Constantine on the stairs. He's wearing a trench coat. He's like, he kind of looked like Sting in a way, or like, because that's kind of who they based him off of. And then he said he met him a second time in 2001, and said that John Constantine like came out of the shadows and whispered a magic secret to Alan Moore, which, funny enough, these two stories are probably the least weird Alan Moore stories that I've ever heard. But, because he's a wizard, like a real wizard, like, or he claims to be a real wizard. I don't know. Alan Moore's an interesting fellow who's written some really cool comics and also some really scary comics, like not like physically scary, but just like, I don't know. Moore is kind of like, it's like beer. It's an acquired taste, and it can be really good, and it can also, just depending on your taste for it, be really bad. But what's even crazier about this is not that just Alan Moore has claimed to have met John Constantine in real life, but other writers who have written like Hellblazer or John Constantine have said that they have met Constantine in real life. Paul Jenkins has said he's seen him in the back of a bar. Who else was it? Jamie Delano has claimed to see Constantine outside of a museum. Peter McGillen said he saw him at a party in 2009. Tried to even chase after him because he wanted to talk to him, but then he just disappeared. Which, honestly, I kind of don't blame him. Like Brian Azzarello, another guy who's worked on Constantine, said he saw him in Chicago once, but realized, like, the thing about John is the last thing you want to be is his friend. And so, like, he's not wrong, man. John Constantine's maybe not the best person to be friends with and, be around when bad things are happening. And also, like, people like Paul Jenkins and Rick Fike have said they've seen him in East Croydon Station. I guess it's somewhere in London. I don't know where that's at, guys, but multiple people have come out to say this. So either this is like the funniest little Easter egg that, writers do. Oh yeah, you got to come up with a story how you met John Constantine, or maybe there's something there, man. And maybe there's some creepy magic mixed in to the John Constantine universe. Who knows? Up next is something a little sports related, but I also found it just kind of nifty, just because of the situation that this guy finds him in. A man by the name of Pat Spencer. I say, yeah, man, he's like 28, 29 years old. Pat Spencer has found himself playing in the NBA, but which is really weird is because that's really not his full-time job. Like, he was working a 9 to 5 until he signed a 2-way contract, which is kind of like a halfway contract if you want to think about it. Now, granted, it wasn't like, oh, we'll just give you the small sum of money to play ball with us, but it's like $400,000, right? But like, this dude was just working a normal job earlier this year before I think, I can't remember what team signed him. I know his brother plays on the Grizzlies. The Warriors. I think it's the Warriors. But so, like, the Warriors basketball team has had tons of injuries, so they needed help. And there was this guy, Pat Spencer, who was playing overseas in like the G leagues or something like that, and then like was also working because it wasn't paying a lot of money, but ended up getting a contract due to injuries to play for the Warriors. And he's actually been doing really well in his tenure there with the Warriors. I think he scored like 19 points one game. Like, he's scoring double-digit points, which is pretty good in the NBA. And but what's even crazier is he didn't really play basketball in college or anything. It was just like this, but not to say like this dude just decided one day like, oh, I'm going to play basketball. Like, this guy's an athlete. He was actually a college lacrosse superstar. This dude set records at his school as a lacrosse player, was even like signed to a professional lacrosse team, but he decided to turn it down because this dude just really loved basketball. So he did like 1 year in a college for the basketball season, didn't get drafted, went to go play in the G Leagues, and then got his chance now. Like I said, his brother is already playing as a rotational player for the Grizzlies. So like now these two are just like dominating in, well, I won't say dominating in basketball, but they are definitely making a name for themselves in basketball. It's just kind of crazy, man, because like people were like making jokes like, oh yeah, like he's late to work because he stayed up late, playing basketball with his friends or whatever. And like the basketball with his friends is the NBA in a stadium with thousands of people watching him. And so I think it's just crazy, man. It's like a cool story, thinking like, oh yeah, like your bro just sitting next to you at work, or like the office guy you hate, turns out he plays professional basketball. It's like, there's people at my job that when I worked in security for the power plant that I work at, there was actually guys there who like were NFL athletes or like were professional athletes at one point, but they get old, they retire, and then they come work out here. So it's like, it's just insane, man. There's one guy that I work with, his son actually just got signed to the NFL this past year, and so now he's going to be playing in the NFL. Everyone's really excited for it. I can't remember if it was the Titans or wherever. I can't remember what team he plays for. It's not the Texans, so I don't really care. But excited for him, man. And it's just kind of cool to think like, there are people around you that have done really cool things that not everyone's ever going to be able to do. And so just, talk to your neighbor, talk to your work neighbor, find out things about them. The last bit of nifty nerd news that I have for you is potentially some good news for us Pokemon collectors. So the Pokemon Company has just acquired 400,000 square feet of building space to print more cards. So there's a big building space that prints a bunch of cards. I think I think it's somewhere in North Carolina or whatever. But of course the Pokemon Company has acknowledged that it's been hard to get Pokemon cards in the wild. Like they've been trying to just print to demand, and they are really struggling at it. In fact, from 2022 to 2023, they printed 10.2 billion cards, and 11.9 billion cards in 22 to 23. From 23 to 24, it's 10.2 billion cards. So a little less, but I mean, still 10 billion cards is nothing to scratch your head at, even though I'm scratching my head right now. But they've just acquired 400,000 square feet more to give them a total of 1.27 million square feet to print cards, hopefully to keep up with demand, which is insane to have that much. Like, how big is 1.27 million square feet, right? And so I was like, well, what can I base this on? Well, a football field, because I'm American and I like football. I guess I could have done baseball, but baseball doesn't have set dimensions. Football does, right? Baseball fields can be whatever size, length, and weird. Football, no, it's very rigid and structured, right? So I looked at it, it's 100 yards, so 360 feet, and it's 160 feet wide. So it's pretty easy to do. It's 1.32 acres. I did the math, and it's like 57,600 square feet, right? So 1.27 million square feet divided into football fields gave me 22 football fields. Can you imagine that? So like one football field, you do a lap around that, it's like a quarter mile. You got 4 football fields. That's a mile. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So it's not exactly 6 miles, but like it's insane, right? Like it's an insane 22 football fields is an insane thing to imagine a space fitting to print Pokemon cards. But that's what the Pokemon card company is doing, and I guarantee I will still not be able to buy Pokemon cards later this year or next year. But hopefully, just hopefully, we're gonna see. Like, I have noticed it has been a little easier for me to find Pokemon cards in the wild when I'm actually looking for them. I haven't really gone out to like stay. Though I think today was a restock at my local Walmart. I didn't go out there. Maybe I will later tonight. I don't know. We'll see. But hopefully this helps, man, because it does suck. Like, so finding individual booster packs has not been that hard. I will say that, because most people are not buying individual booster packs. They're looking for the collected stuff, the ETBs, the UPCs, are like the ultimate premium collections, the booster bundles, booster boxes. Like, those are the things that are really hard to find, because collectors or scalpers, really I think it's still scalpers, are buying those up and selling them for crazy prices, man. Like, I still go to like local card stores, comic book shops, and you see these things which, if you were to find them at Best Buy, Target, and Walmart, are only like $24, like collected stuff, like $24, being sold for like $50 at these stores, which is still outrageous. Like, I get it, man. Like, you're trying to make a profit and market value is that high, but Jesus, dude, like, there's no way you're spending $24. I just can't imagine that your distributor is charging you that much for a product that's supposed to retail at $25, right? Like, unless it is the distributors, unless the distributors really are charging or overcharging because they know they could get it, because they know the stores are upcharging for their shit. But like, I find it hard to believe that, man. So it's like, and it's so hard, because I'm not in that world. So I'm not working with a distributor, so I don't know what they're being charged. I wish I could work with a distributor, and I wish I could sell cards, because I like selling cards. I don't sell sealed stuff because I refuse to sell at the market value and take advantage of people who just want to get cards for their kids, because that's just not right. Speaking of which, this Saturday, which is going to be soon, if I release this on Thursday, that means in 2 days, I will be selling my cards in my hometown at the Civic Center for their December Christmas market. It's great. It's going to be indoors. It's from 9 to 4 p.m. Well, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tons of vendors are going to be there. Me and another guy that I know that he sells sports cards mainly, and I do sell some sports cards, but I sell Pokemon cards out the butt. I do mystery packs, singles. I got all kinds of fun stuff. Like, if you're looking for things for like something special for someone special for Christmas, like a high dollar card, I have those. If you want cool stocking stuffers to make your kids happy, I got mystery packs that I guarantee you're going to find some cool stuff in those mystery packs. So come check it out, man. I'll be out there. I'm on booth 27, I believe, which will be to the left and near the back, or near the stage, where I think they're going to have music playing. I'm going to put Christmas lights up, and you'll see a big banner that says Bry-Fy on it. So that'll be almost impossible to miss if you come out to Bay City, Texas, and check out the Christmas market days. It's going to be fun. It's at the Civic Center. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today with the Nifty Nerd News. Up next, we're going to talk about Fallout Season 2, Episode 1. Hopefully you guys are excited. Hopefully you guys don't get spoiled. If you don't want to get spoiled, stop right here, go watch it, and then come right back and we'll talk about it.
Let's go. This is the Bry-Fy podcast. Welcome to the show.
All right, guys, welcome back to the review portion of the podcast. Like I said, this week I got to check out Fallout Season 2, Episode 1. So excited that Fallout is back. When Season 1 came out, I was so in love with it, man. It brought back all the nostalgia of playing. My first game was Fallout 3 was my first venture into the Fallout series. And so just seeing it play out and just be so respectful to the source material, adding some new characters, and really making a well-rounded story, and just one that you want to see. It was so great. It's so good, so great. I love the characters. Lucy the ghoul, or I guess his name is Cooper, but he becomes a ghoul. Like, seeing all that, it just is really cool and really awesome. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited for Season 2. And let me tell you, Episode 1 just cranks it up, man. It just makes it that much better. It makes you happy to be back. And it does have quite a bit of a long recap. I forget how long it was, maybe like 10 or 15 minutes of recap, it felt like. But it's been a while, so it kind of makes sense that you get that. And what's really crazy about it, I didn't see this, but supposedly Amazon had done an AI recap first. Like they made an AI version or let AI make a recap version of it. And from the people that had seen it, supposedly it was god awful. It was getting time periods wrong. It was getting dates wrong. It was getting storylines wrong. Like, I think it was saying like this, like the OG setting or like the pre-war setting was based in 1950s, which that's not right. It was like 2070 or something like that. And then it was saying like the ghoul gave Lucy an ultimatum that she either joins him or dies there, which that wasn't true. He was very just like, look, I'm going to go get your dad. You want to come with or no? And so like people were shitting all over this AI recap because it was just that bad. And so Amazon pulled it in favor of, actually doing the work and making a legitimate recap. So I'm kind of sad that I missed that, but at the same time, I'm glad I didn't have to, sit through the torture of like AI just butchering season 1 to get me ready for season 2. I think that would have really upset me like it upset a lot of people. With that, like I said, we're going to talk about this, but I'm going to try not to give away too many spoilers. There's just no avoiding it. There are going to be some spoilers in here. So hopefully you stopped and watched the episode and then came back. And then I'm not going to try to talk about it scene for scene, but I'm just going to kind of talk about it by characters. And then we'll go from there. So, of course, one of the first things we do get, though, is some flashbacks that feature Mr. House, which is a character that fans of Fallout New Vegas will be very familiar with. We did get an introduction to him at the end of season 1, I believe, and now to get to see him back. And what's very interesting is the Mr. House that we're seeing is not the same actor who is playing the Mr. House that we see on the TV and in some flashbacks, which I don't know. It's very weird because I tried looking up to see like what happened. Is the other actor just not able to do it? Or what fan theories are suggesting, which would fit for the character, is that he uses a body double to do public events and things in case, something were to happen to him, because he's a very paranoid person. And so the real Mr. House is who we're seeing in the bar scene versus the body double who we see in the public eye, which is a very interesting way to, if it was actually the actor just couldn't do it. And so it's really cool way to make that work for the character while hiding the truth of the world that, behind the green curtain, so to speak. But so kind of interesting than that. But, we get to see House playing with his mind control devices and how that's going to play later into the episode. And I say in the episode because remember, everything that we're seeing with like Mr. House and Cooper are flashbacks to like the 2070s. So the pre-war stuff, I guess we'll just call it the pre-war stuff, or the before the bombs fall, before the fallout. I don't know how to describe that. And so, you get to see that. You get to see that his mind control device does have a defect, or maybe it's a feature. I don't know. Something really bad happens to the wearer of the mind control device, other than having to do things against your will. There's a fate even worse than that, I would believe. So we'll see how that all plays out with that. Also, the thing with Mr. House, and we kind of find this out throughout the episode in the flashbacks, is this man is capable of having the weaponry he needs to bring about the end of the world, or the start of World War III, or to prevent it. So it's kind of like he has the weaponry to cause it or to save everyone from it. Cooper is finding all this out. Of course, he's reeling from the fact that in season 1, he found out his wife is kind of behind the group that is planning to force World War III. Like, they're going to fake the communists doing it and like force everyone into the vaults for their own personal gain, which is crazy and sick and absolutely disturbing. And I understand the feelings that Cooper is going through and just the fear and just the sickness that he has to have in his stomach while all this is happening. So it's just really interesting. And he does get confronted by I say an outsider, but someone working with another group who wants him to confront Mr. House to prevent the end of the world, to prevent Vault Tech from getting what they want. Now, is that convincing House to stop the bombs from falling, to protect people, or to kill him? Some of the teasers lead us to believe, or at least House believes, that Cooper is there to kill him. But Cooper doesn't seem like that kind of guy. Now, the Ghoul, which he later becomes, which happens post Fallout, so 200 years later, he is very much that guy. So, I don't know. It's really interesting. It's really cool to see these two sides of Cooper, the Ghoul and Cooper. It's like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type thing, where, you know, you see him in the past, like, seems like a very kind man and a very concerned person, loves his family, versus the Ghoul, he's like straight Clint Eastwood Western, shoot 'em up type guy. So I don't know. It's really cool and stuff. Then we get to see Lucy and the Ghoul, since we've been talking about him, and their opening action scene, which just brings us back to the games, man. Like this was the fan love letter right here. The first action scene that we get, where it happens. We get location Easter eggs with Novak, which is the No Vacancy Hotel, that whole town with the giant dinosaur that's in there. So fans of Fallout New Vegas are going to love all this. Although I've seen online, fans of New Vegas have hated it because the dinosaur is facing the wrong way. Screw you guys. I loved it because you're getting to see the things that you saw in the game, right? So what if it's not facing the right way and like all these other things? It's serving a purpose in the story, okay? Get over it. You get to see the Great Cons, which is like a group in Fallout New Vegas. You get to see Lucy try to appeal to their better nature, and she fails her little speech check and ends up, they're going to have to fight now, which is really fun. But it also kind of shows the duality or the odds that Lucy and the Ghoul have, where Lucy is a very positive-minded and pacifistic person. The Ghoul, very much not that person. And thankfully so. We get to see him in action for this, and get to see them gunfighting and just explosions and body parts. It looks like the way they use Lucy, and she's sniping from the dinosaur mouth and looking through it, it's almost like she's using VATS in a way, which is really cool because she's not trying to kill people. She's just trying to harm them enough where they won't fight back. So she's shooting people in the shoulders and the butt, where the Ghoul's like, screw this, headshot, headshot, headshot. Like, his VATS headshot game is 100% every time, no matter the distance. He ends up getting like a cool grenade launcher, and it's like he's got the bloody mess perk on because he is blowing people's limbs off left and right, which looks amazing and just so reminiscent of the video games. And it's just awesome. And what even makes it awesomer is that you get music from the games, man. What's the song? Big Iron by Morty Robbins. Play it. It sounds great. If I could get a piece of it, I would, but I'm scared of copyright things. It plays during this scene, and it's just so awesome, man. It really brings the nostalgia home and just cranks the excitement up. This is definitely the action you've been wanting to see. I mean, we've gotten action in the first Fallout, but just like kick things off with season 2 with this is just awesome. And just really exciting, man. We get to see their story continue as they visit other locales that people, fans of Fallout New Vegas, will recognize instantly. They make it to a vault that was a cool another Easter egg. It's a vault that was supposed to be in the Fallout New Vegas games, but it was actually cut for one reason or another. But getting to now get new life in the TV show, which I think is a really interesting thing. Like you can, maybe they're doing that. The people Obsidian is working with the game companies to say like, hey, what were some things you wanted in these games that you probably couldn't do? Maybe we can do them here in the TV show or make them work either as Easter eggs or actual storyline items. And so getting to see that, like a cool Easter egg that was supposed to be in a video game, but then was cut, is kind of neat. Like you can do that with these vaults that we didn't get to see in the video games. We now get to see in TV shows. And what's great is because they weren't in the games, they can kind of be wherever you want them to be, which is really awesome to me. And I'm really excited about that. But so, yes, Lucy and the ghoul are still on their journey to Vegas to find Lucy's dad. God, what was his name? Hank. So they're still on their way to find Hank and confront him and do something about him. Whether that's kill him or bring him to justice. Who knows? Who's going to win, Lucy or the ghoul? Right now they're working together, but their end goals are not the same. Speaking of Hank, Lucy's dad, he gets to Vegas, and it seems like he is very aware of who Mr. House is. But we don't see Mr. House now, post 200 years later, so we don't know if he's frozen himself or if he's lived on somehow in the TV universe. I cannot remember Fallout New Vegas. I know what I did in my ending, but I just can't remember what happens to Mr. House and how he survives that long, or if he does survive that long. So really unsure what we're going to get in the television series with Mr. House. But Hank is very knowledgeable with House's brain control chips, but it seems like he is either more loyal to Mr. House than he is to Vault-Tec, or he is more loyal to someone else instead of Vault-Tec or Mr. House. So there's some really interesting stuff that we get to see with Hank, and we're still not 100% sure what is driving him and why he's going to Vegas and what his end goal is. But but I'm so interested. I'm so intrigued. Like, what is his purpose? Like, what is the end goal here? Are they really just going to try to just wipe out everyone on the surface so that it can be left for the quote unquote good people? Who knows? He does leave a message for Lucy in Vault 24 and tells her that, don't worry, he's going to fix everything, which kind of leads me to believe like that is his end goal, is to wipe out everyone on the surface. And he tells her to just go back home. But the way he does it, the way he leaves this message for Lucy, is extremely disturbing, and you guys have to check it out. It's just so crazy. It's creepy. But it does involve using Mr. House's mind control chips. So, yeah, very creepy, very creepy. We do follow up with Vaults 32, 33, and Norm in Vault 31. Things are not going so well for people in the Vaults 32 and 33. The water chip is broke. Resources are low. Steph, who is the overseer for Vault 32, is kind of freaking crazy and terrifying. But I'm not sure if that's like a false flag type thing. Like they're just making you think she's that crazy and terrifying when actually she's looking out for the best in her people. But she is also a part of the same program Hank was. So, you know, she's someone from pre-bomb drops who has been unfrozen now 200 years later. So what is her goal? Like, is she trying to help Hank or anything like that? We do find out she's very terrible at computers and ends up severing the connection, the communication connections between the Vaults 31, 32, and 33, which now allows Norm to escape or come up with a plan of escape from Vault 31, which Steph does not realize that she does. What's also great, though, and things that I like about Vault 32 and 33 and going back to those sections and in the story is they're way more lighthearted. You know, the people of the Vault are very loopy. They haven't been tainted by the surface yet, so they're really silly, and the things that are affecting them are really funny. We follow up with Reg, who is just trying to find purpose in the Vault, and the purpose that he thinks he finds is counseling people because they've been in this Vault for who knows how long. and relationships are forming, but the thing is, the relationships are forming between people who are already family members and cousins and things. And there's a really funny incest joke in here, which shouldn't be funny, but it is funny. And I don't know. I've been enjoying the Vault stuff, but following up with Lucy's brother Norm, he's concocted a plan because basically he was trapped in Vault 31, left to die by a brain in a jar who was part of the program that Hank and Steph were. But now he's come up with a plan, and he's going to thaw everyone in that bunker and gonna basically get them to help him escape. And so that's going to be really interesting to see how that all plays out. But that's really where we're at. My only regret is we don't really follow up with Maximus and the Brotherhood of Steel this episode, which I was... And one point I really wanted to see that because I want to know where he's at in this story. But the other thing is we're already getting so many things happening, so many storylines between the flashback stuff, Lucy and the Ghoul, Hank, and the Vaults. That, I mean, that's 1, 2, 3. That's 4 storylines that we're trying to juggle and follow. So adding a 5th one might have just been a little too much to fit, even in just like the hour and whatever time limit that they had here. But it's exciting, dude. Episode 1 is a great base. It's a great recap. It's a great start to come back and be like, excuse me, my throat's getting groggy, but it's just a great starting point to kind of remind you where everyone was at and also start building the foundation for what's going to happen in this season. I both hate and love that they're doing weekly releases or like periodic releases. I can't remember when the next episode comes out, but it is not soon enough because I need to know what happens. Like, it's funny because I don't think I've been excited to watch much of anything until Fallout came out, and now I'm very much excited that Fallout is here, and I'm very excited to watch it. I wish I could binge watch it, but I'm going to have to wait. And it's going to suck to wait, but I'm really excited for the next episode. But that's all I got to say, man. If you're looking for a review on here, this is a positive charged piece of media right here. If you are a fan of the Fallout series, this is definitely a must watch. What is wrong with you? You need to get on it because it stays true to the original video games as far as the heart, the character, and everything like that. Yes, some things are turned 180 degrees than what they were in the video games. Get over it, you little bitch. Like, it's not going to be a 1-for-1 remake of the video games, but it holds so much love and respect for the source material, and that it feels like an extension of it. And so I'm excited to see where they go with it this season and what happens next. It's great. It's fun. I love it. And I'm just so excited. But that is all that I have for you guys. Thank you so much for listening to the episode, and we will see you guys next week. Bry-Fy out.